Krampus was released in 2015 and was directed by Michael Dougherty. It stars Toni Collette and Adam Scott and is about a dysfunctional family who gets a visit from Krampus. So this movie was directed by Michael Dougherty, who directed my favorite movie, Trick or Treat. This is my favorite horror movie of all time. I absolutely loved it. So I was a little bit scared going into Krampus because usually when you have a favorite movie and a favorite director, you get a little bit nervous about their next movies, which Krampus was the really big next horror movie that he was doing. So I pushed it off a little bit, but I watched it, and I gotta say, I like it. It's pretty good. Not as good as Trick or Treat, but it's not a bad Christmas horror movie. I do think a lot of people hate on it a little bit too much, which I'll kind of explain why I think they do. But before we start talking about all of that, let's start talking about some pros I have with the movie. The first pro that I have is this little stop motion bit during the middle of the movie. The grandma is talking about something she experienced in her childhood, and instead of portraying it in live kind of action, they decided to do stop motion. And it was like a really cool switch that I didn't expect to be in the movie, and it added a lot of new flavor to the movie. I've been watching a lot of Guys Grocery Games and stuff like that, so all cooking stuff is in my head, but it added a nice little flavor to the movie. My favorite part about the movie is the root or the meaning of all of it. By that I mean, you know, you have your horror and all of that, but there's always some deep-seated real-world problem that is portrayed within any horror movie. And in this movie, it's a dysfunctional family arguing with family members. That's our main issue throughout the entire movie. And of course, you know, there's Krampus and all of them being attacked, but at the heart of it, it's about this family who is struggling and not getting along with each other. And it was really nice to see how throughout the movie, the family starts to become a lot more friendlier towards each other, or they start to apologize because of previous incidents with each other. Just very, very cool to have that in the movie, because sometimes it's not done as well in movies. You could think of a million, like the Krampus that I just watched, Sleigh Bells. No character arc, no anything, just stupid. This movie has a real world issue within it, portrays it amazingly, and it leads to a very nice ending, which I won't spoil. In terms of the last pro that I have with this movie, it has to be the fun nature. The best part about Trick or Treat was how fun the movie felt. It was, although there's this big like sequence of horror and guts and all of that, it's just so much fun watching it. And it's the same with Krampus. There's a lot of fun. There's gingerbread men attacking people. There's Jack-in-the-Boxes attacking people. Just a blast of a movie. After speaking on all those positives though, there are a few cons that I do have with it, which the first one I have is that the movie starts off very slow. And because of that, it makes the ending very rushed. And it just ruins a lot of suspense that they were building up throughout the movie. So that's probably the biggest issue that I have. Other little nitpicky kind of stuff like character dialogue. Some of the sound effects that they chose were really a little bit too goofy than what they were trying to do. But the biggest problem I had was that the ending felt really rushed because of the beginning being slow. It felt like the director kind of knew that he only had a certain amount of time left. So it was just like, all right, we gotta do this to this character, this to this character, and it just made the ending feel a little bit rushed. But our last minute is very, very good. So I think a lot of people didn't really like this movie because of the kind of fun nature to it, the horror comedy kind of style, which if you didn't watch Trick or Treat, then watching this, you're not used to this type of style. It's not a very pertinent style within the horror genre. So I can understand why people didn't like it, but personally, I love when a horror movie is fun, because we see a lot of them like Hostel, I Spit on Your Grave, those types, which are just no fun at all, just disgusting, don't want to watch. So I absolutely love the kind of fun energy that's within this movie. Overall, I'm going to give Krampus a 7.5 out of 10. And if you're looking for a Christmas horror movie, then I recommend it. If you like a fun style type of horror movie, I recommend it. If you want something a little bit more serious, then you're not really going to get it within this movie. but there are serious topics that are talked about within it. So thank you everyone for tuning into all of the Christmas special episodes that have been on the channel, but let's flash forward to the next review.